once again, I have no idea how today's going to go. One of the things we're going to hopefully start doing is putting the roof tiles on, which the boys haven't done this type of roof before, and neither have I, to be honest. So I'm not sure exactly how it's going to go, but I don't think it's going to be complicated. It's just a matter of figuring it out, and then once you get the pattern and everything else, it'll be easy. And I don't know, maybe I'm going to get some stuff moved. That lumber that's out front, maybe I'm not. I just can't tell. And who shows up? That's always a big one. Who's going to be here this morning? Everybody's got something to do this morning. There's boards that are being put up that needed to be finished off. I got guys getting ready to start the roof. That's going to be exciting. And everything's going well so far.
What do you think that is? That would be 10 pounds of frozen grouper that has been thawing in the refrigerator for 4 or 5 days now and is still completely solid. So this is going to be today's challenge. Do you see this? Can you see what those are? Those are potatoes I grew in my container garden. 3 potatoes. I think it will feed one of us. Maybe. But there's another plant starting, so there's hope.
Look at that. Fresh string beans from Sid's patio garden.
And my potatoes.
Where's the potatoes? Oh, yeah. And here's the fall potato harvest. Well, it's not really a harvest, but that's okay. They're fresh.
It was a surprise.
Right, it was a surprise. She stuck, what was one sprouting or something?
One potato was sprouting.
Right, and then you said, okay, well, I'll just stick it in the ground. And then it started growing, and we were like, okay, well, we'll just keep watching it. Potatoes like this don't normally grow here, but these grew perfectly fine. Well, not perfectly
I
fine.
get a second crop.
How do you have a second crop?
I planted another potato and it's already sprouted.
Oh, goody. Look at that. Eating good in the neighborhood. So today went relatively well. I mean, there was some little hiccups that we had to deal with on the roof because the porch roofs on this project are 3/4 inch tongue and groove V-joint. So you can't use a very long nail, otherwise you're going to be poking through. And even with the tile, the roof tiles that we're putting on, you have to be really careful. Otherwise, you're going to get the nail through. So we learned that pretty quick. The other part is that each of these tiles has a number from 1 to 8. So you can't put 1, 1, 2, 2. You got to stagger them. On top of that, because they're supposed to look like, an old shake roof, you can't have the lines line up. So even if the numbers are different, you've got to still stagger them. So it's learning. It's going well. Everything in that regard is fine. Tomorrow, I think we'll probably be a lot farther along because there's less of a learning curve on that. At least that's my thinking. The other thing I wanted to touch on, and we did this yesterday, and I've still gotten more comments like on the Facebook page and everything else from people who were, no golf course, no development, different aspects. Some other people have sent me notes about, private notes about Lighthouse Point. And all of these things are very complicated issues. Maybe from where you sit, and you look, they're not complicated. But from here, they are. So, in the case of the sale of a piece of land, if that piece of land is owned by a private person, they have every right to sell that property, no matter what the public thinks. So the person who owns the piece of land can then turn around and sell it. The stipulations have to come about in terms of what the government says you can or cannot do with that land. And now the government down here, of course, is going to look at that and say, is this going to create jobs for people here? If they think it's going to benefit the local economy, produce jobs, stuff like that, and there's going to be a minimal impact to the environment, etc., they'll probably move it forward. Now, in the case of, one of those things that's been popped up is Lighthouse Point. And Lighthouse Point is absolutely beautiful. It's pristine. But as far as I know, and I could be wrong, it's a private piece of land, okay? Someone like me or you or whatever owns that piece of land. So they have the right, just like you have the right to sell your house, they have the right to sell that piece of land. What those people who buy it do is up to whatever the rules are on the books at that time, okay? If there's enough people who got together and said, okay, I don't know, I think it's like for Lighthouse Point, something like 25, 30 million. We're going to buy Lighthouse Point and we're going to turn it into a sanctuary or a learning center or whatever. Hey, fine, great, wonderful. But I'm not sure, unless you're the government, that you can put stipulations on private property to say what you can and cannot do with it. Such as you can't develop it, you can't close access, you can't do this, you can't do that. And remember, no beaches in the Bahamas are private. None. If you have a boat, you can get to them. What happens when you get there, that could be another issue, because the people who actually think they own the beach all the way out to the ocean could put up a big stink and there could be problems and all that. But this whole thing with private lands and developments, and like I talked to the guys about the Jack's Bay thing with the golf course. And those guys were like, yeah, it's going to probably have some environmental impact. Yes, it will. Is it going to happen? They were like, I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Maybe there's no need to even worry about it. Excellent point in itself. They said, is there going to be problems? We don't know. We don't know how they're going to make their golf course. Is it going to be an environmentally friendly golf course? Maybe, maybe not. They don't know. Will it benefit some people? Some people will get jobs? Yes, that's a good thing. So how and what happens, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that, you can say your piece, you can sign your petitions, you can have your voice be heard, but like a lot of things, when it's private land being sold, the government's involved as to what you're going to do with it, unless you're just keeping it as one piece of private land, and you have to submit plans to the government. If they okay those plans, you're free to do what you want. Whether everybody disagrees or not. So, and I hate to say it, but from Rock Sound South, there is nothing happening. I mean, it's totally dead down there. So a guy once told me, he was from Deep Creek. He's got 4 employees. He's one of the larger employees in Deep Creek. So it's a really complicated issue between the employment aspect, the environment aspect, and you just have to hope that all the parties involved can try to work out the best plan for all of the aspects, the community, the economics, the job force, the environment. Does it happen? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So you just have to do it in a logical way and not be, oh, it's bad, stop it. That doesn't work, I'm sorry. It just doesn't work. You have to have a whole different approach. You can do all of that kind of stuff, people will see, but it's not going to work. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking of these resorts, and also think about here, not where you come from.